Absolutely. Somebody to talk about that is the inimitable Maggie Wright. Maggie, you're on the line.
And I want to, first of all, thank you for your service, and thank you for standing up for the veterans. And just recently, you being in an outrage over people driving on the graves of our veterans in the cemetery, in the veteran cemetery. But I want to remind you that you told us that you were boss, and you went into this Alamo plan, master plan, with Mayor Ron Nirenberg. And I know that the city owns the cenotaph, but you have the power to choose to leave the cenotaph right where it is and repair it there. And why do you, with the master plan, choose to disturb Alamo Cemetery graves? This really bothers me more than driving on the graves, is we seeing the backhoe digging up graves. And we know that some of them are our Alamo defenders because they're in, they're not in shroud or blankets. They're actually in coffins, wood coffins. And I want to let you know that this really bothers me. These are our first veterans of Texas, and we need to leave their headstone right where it is. Repair it there, add names, and thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. Great hearing you. I appreciate you lending me your voice on this issue over the years, and look forward to seeing you at convention. You know, in working with, and that's where, you know, my work has, I think, become that much more important, because you're right, the city of San Antonio has an activist city council, as we've seen on a whole host of other issues. And it's me that basically got rid of the UN designation on the grounds of the Alamo. You may remember my predecessor was the one to bring the United Nations to the grounds. I'm the one that pushed back and said, not on my watch. As it relates to the cenotaph itself, and as we talked about earlier, the focus is making sure that it's around, you know, and not leaving any stone unturned as it relates to the history of the Alamo. So just if I could share with you a side point, one of our other restoration items is the fact that there are 22 abandoned cannons that were utilized during the battle itself, but neglected over the course of history. Through our excavation efforts, we were able to find those cannons, restore them. We actually partnered with Texas A&M University, GigaMags, and they have a metallurgical graduate study program there where they helped us restore these cannons. As it turns out, in one of the cannons, there was an unfired cannonball. And through DNA research, we were able to find composite research that we believe that cannonball was fired from the Mexican side into the compound, taken by the revolutionaries, put into that cannon, but unfired, and remained a mystery to Texas historians since that time. Those are the types of clues that we are uncovering through this very important excavation work, being sensitive, of course, to any remains that we find on the grounds of the Alamo. Under current, we're not only regulated by a state law, but by federal law. And so should we find any remains in or around the Alamo grounds, we are to halt any further excavation. And depending on the relevant community stakeholder, whether it's a revolutionary or a Native American, we have different protocols based upon that. But I just want you to know that we are working very diligently. We work very respectfully, because you are absolutely right. These are the original veteran that stood for this important idea of freedom and liberty in the face of tyranny, and in fighting for these ideas that I think the next generation sometimes takes for granted. And so we treat this very respectfully and very diligently in making sure that we do this the right way.